Breaking news for Social Security recipients. If you don't take action before January 15th, 2025, your benefits could be delayed, reduced, or even suspended. This is not a drill. Whether you're on Social Security retirement, SSI, or SSDI, there's a critical deadline coming up in just days that could affect your next payment. And most people have no idea this is happening. I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do, step by step, to protect your income. So stay with me until the end, because missing this deadline could cost you hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we break down Social Security updates, payment schedules, and policy changes in plain English so you never miss a benefit you're entitled to. My goal is simple: to help you protect your income and stay ahead of the changes that Washington doesn't always explain clearly. And if you're a senior, disabled, or someone who depends on Social Security or SSI, you're in the right place. We don't do clickbait here. We do real information that keeps money in your pocket. Now, before we dive in, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Why? Because the Social Security Administration doesn't always send you a letter in time. But this channel, we make sure you know what's coming before it hits your bank account. So subscribe now so you're never caught off guard. All right, let's talk about this January 15th deadline and what it means for you, what's happening and why this matters. So here's the deal. The Social Security Administration has a January 15th deadline for several critical actions that beneficiaries need to take. And depending on your situation, this could involve updating your information, confirming your eligibility, or submitting documentation to avoid interruptions in your payments. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about one single thing. The January 15th deadline affects different groups of people in different ways, but the common thread is this. If you don't act, the SSA could freeze your payments, delay your benefits, or require you to pay money back, and nobody wants that. Let me break down the most common situations where this deadline applies. Situation 1, SSI recipients and the income and resource reporting requirement. If you receive Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, you are required to report any changes in your income, resources, or living situation to the Social Security Administration. This includes things like a change in your household income, a new job or additional earnings, a change in your living arrangement, like moving in with family or a friend, receiving money from a settlement, inheritance, or gift, changes in the value of your bank accounts or assets. Now, here's what a lot of people don't realize. The SSA expects you to report these changes within 10 days of the end of the month in which the change occurred. But in practice, they often give you until the 15th of the following month to get your paperwork in. So if something changed in December 2024, you have until January 15, 2025 to report it. If you don't, the SSA can overpay you. And when that happens, they will come back and demand repayment, sometimes taking it directly out of your future checks. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you're on SSI and you're getting $943 a month. In December, your adult daughter moved back in with you and she's working full-time. That could change your living arrangement status and potentially reduce your SSI payment because the SSA considers you to be receiving in-kind support. If you don't report that by January 15th, the SSA might keep paying you the full amount. But 6 months from now, they'll catch it during a review. And then they'll say, you owe us $200 because we overpaid you. And they'll start deducting 10% from every check until it's paid back. That's not a scare tactic. That's how the system works. Situation 2, work activity reporting for SSDI recipients. If you're on Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI, and you've started working or increased your work hours, you need to report that to the SSA. They have something called a trial work period, which allows you to test your ability to work without losing your benefits right away. But here's the catch. You have to report your work activity. If you earned over 1,910 in a month during 2024, that counts as a trial work month. You get 9 trial work months in a rolling 60-month period. After that, if you're still earning above what's called substantial gainful activity, which is $1,150 per month for non-blind individuals in 2025, your benefits could stop. The SSA doesn't always know when you start working unless you tell them or your employer reports your wages. But when they do find out and you didn't report it on time, they can stop your benefits immediately and demand repayment for months you were overpaid. So if you started a part-time job in December or any time recently, you need to report that by January 15th to stay in compliance. You can do this by calling your local Social Security office or submitting a work activity report online through your My Social Security account. Situation 3, annual reporting for representative payees. If you're a representative payee, meaning you manage Social Security benefits on behalf of someone else, like an elderly parent or a disabled child, you have an annual reporting requirement. The SSA requires you to submit a representative payee report every year to confirm that you're using the benefits appropriately for the beneficiary's needs. Most representative payees receive this form in the mail, and it's usually due by a specific date. For many payees, that date falls in January. And if January 15 is your deadline and you don't submit the report, the SSA can suspend the beneficiary's payments until you comply. This is serious because it's not your money. It's the beneficiary's money. And if their check stops because you missed a deadline, that could mean they can't pay for rent, medication, or food. So if you're a representative payee and you've received a report in the mail, don't put it off. Fill it out and send it back before January 15th. If you're not sure if you have a deadline, call the SSA at 1-800-772-1213 and ask. Situation 4, reconsideration or appeal. Deadlines. Now, this one doesn't apply to everyone, but it's critical if it applies to you. If you recently received a decision from the Social Security Administration, whether it's about a denied claim, a reduction in benefits, or an overpayment notice, you have 60 days from the date you receive that notice to file an appeal or request reconsideration. Let me give you an example. Let's say in mid-November, you got a letter saying the SSA is reducing your SSDI payment because they say you're working above the substantial gainful activity limit. You disagree because you're only working part-time and your earnings are under the threshold. If you got that letter on November 15th, you have until January 14th, 2025 to file a reconsideration request. If you miss that deadline, the decision becomes final. And it's much, much harder to fight it later. A lot of people throw these letters in a drawer and forget about them. Don't do that. If you got a notice from the SSA that you disagree with, act now. You can file a reconsideration online by mail or in person at your local office. Just don't wait. Situation 5, Medicare Part D enrollment deadline. Okay, this one's a little different, but it's still tied to January 15th, and it affects a lot of Social Security recipients. If you're on Medicare and you haven't enrolled in a Part D prescription drug plan yet, or if you want to switch plans for 2025, you have until January 15 to make changes during the open enrollment period extension. Now, technically, Medicare open enrollment ended on December 7th. But if you're eligible for extra help, also called the low-income subsidy, or if you qualify for a special enrollment period, you may still have until January 15th to enroll or switch plans. Why does this matter? Because if you don't have Part D coverage and you go without it for 63 days or more, you could face a late enrollment penalty that lasts for as long as you have Medicare. That penalty gets added to your monthly premium forever. And if you're on a fixed income from Social Security, even a small penalty can hurt your budget. So if you're not sure whether you're enrolled in Part D or if your current plan is still the best option, check your My Social Security account or call Medicare at 1-800-MEDICARE before January 15th. Why these deadlines exist. Now, I know some of you are thinking, why is the Social Security Administration so strict about these deadlines? Why can't they just give us more time? Here's the reality. The SSA is a massive federal agency that processes benefits for over 70 million Americans. They have rules and timelines to keep the system functioning and to prevent fraud and overpayments. When you receive benefits, you're entering into an agreement to follow those rules. And while the SSA does have processes for late appeals and exceptions, they're not automatic. You have to prove good cause, which means showing that you had a valid reason for missing the deadline, like a serious illness or a natural disaster. It's much easier to just meet the deadline in the first place. Real-world impact. Let me tell you what happens when people miss these deadlines. I've heard from viewers who lost months of SSI payments because they didn't report a change in living arrangements on time. I've talked to SSDI recipients who had to repay thousands of dollars because they didn't report work activity. And I've seen Medicare beneficiaries pay hundreds of extra dollars every year because they missed an enrollment deadline. These are real consequences that affect real people. And the sad part is, most of the time, it's not because people didn't care. It's because they didn't know. The SSA doesn't always do a great job of explaining these requirements in a way that's easy to understand. That's why this channel exists. So you know what to do and when to do it. What you need to do right now. All right, let's get practical. Here's exactly what you need to do before January 15th to protect your benefits. Step 1. Check your mail and your My Social Security account. Go through any letters you've received from the SSA in the last 60 days. Look for anything that says action required or mentions a deadline. If you have a My Social Security account online, log in and check your messages. The SSA sometimes sends notices electronically. Step 2. Report any changes immediately. If anything in your life changed in December, report it now. This includes changes in income, work activity, living arrangements, or resources. Don't wait until the last minute. You can report changes by calling 1-800-772-213, visiting your local office, or using your My Social Security account online. Step 3. If you're a representative payee, submit your report. If you manage benefits for someone else, check your mail for the annual report. Fill it out completely and accurately and send it back before January 15th. If you lost the form, you can request a new one by calling the SSA. Step 4. File any pending appeals or reconsiderations. If you received a decision from the SSA that you disagree with and your 60-day deadline is coming up, file your appeal or reconsideration request now. Don't put it off. You can do this online at ssa.gov, by mail, or in person. Step 5. Review your Medicare Part D coverage. If you're on Medicare and you're not sure about your Part D plan, check it now. Make sure you're enrolled and that your plan still covers the medications you need. If you need to make a change, do it before January 15th. Step 6. Keep records of everything. This is so important. If you call the SSA, write down the date, time, and the name of the person you spoke with. If you submit paperwork, make copies and keep a record of when and how you sent it. If something goes wrong, having documentation can help you fix it faster. Don't panic, but don't procrastinate. Look, I don't want to scare you, but I do want you to take this seriously. The SSA doesn't send reminder letters. They don't call you to make sure you've taken action. If you miss a deadline, the first sign you'll get is when your payment doesn't show up or when you get a letter saying you owe them money. So take an hour today. Go through your paperwork, make the calls you need to make. And if you're not sure whether a deadline applies to you, call the SSA and ask. It's better to check and find out you're fine than to assume you're fine and find out later that you weren't. Now here's the thing, Social Security rules are complicated. Deadlines change, policies get updated, and if you're trying to keep track of all of it on your own, it's easy to miss something important. That's exactly why I created this channel, so you don't have to stress about whether you're doing everything right. Every week, I break down the latest Social Security updates, payment schedules, policy changes, and deadlines so you can stay informed and protect your income. If this video helped you, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update, because next week, there might be another deadline or another change that affects your benefits, and I want to make sure you know about it before it's too late. Also, drop a comment below and let me know if this video was helpful. Tell me what topics you want me to cover next. Do you want more SSDI updates, more SSI tips, Medicare breakdowns? Let me know, and I'll make it happen. And if you know someone who's on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or Medicare, share this video with them. Send it to your parents, your friends, your neighbors, because chances are they need to hear this too. This channel is here to help you, and the more people who subscribe, the more people we can protect. So hit that subscribe button and let's make sure nobody in this community ever loses a benefit because they didn't know about a deadline. All right, let's wrap this up. Here's what you need to remember. If you're on SSI, SSDI, or Social Security retirement, there are critical actions you may need to take before January 15th, 2025. Whether it's reporting a change in your situation, filing an appeal, submitting a representative payee report, or enrolling in Medicare Part D, missing this deadline could delay your payments, reduce your benefits, or cost you money. Don't wait until the last minute. Check your mail. Check your My Social Security account. Make the calls you need to make. And if you're not sure whether this applies to you, call the SSA at 1-800-772-1213 and ask. The Social Security Administration isn't going to hold your hand through this, but that's okay, because that's what this channel is for. We're here to make sure you know what's coming, what to do about it, and how to protect the income you depend on. You've worked hard for your benefits, you've earned them, and you deserve to keep every dollar you're entitled to. So take action today, and you'll have peace of mind knowing your benefits are secure. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video with more updates, more tips, and more information to keep you protected. Until then, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.